Good morning, everyone. Welcome to day 2 of the Visionary Social Media Challenge. Just going to wait for some people to hop in live and then we will get started. If you are tuning into the replay, if you wouldn't mind just typing in replay, that way I know you are watching. And if you're tuning in live, welcome. This is day 2 of the challenge. Hopefully you have your workbook nearby and we'll get started momentarily. It's been fun to see everything you've been posting to the group here and seeing yesterday the date that you joined Instagram. So we saw some people were 2012, 2013, some early adopters, I would say. And it was fun to be able to see how much time you all spend online. I can't say I'm very proud of my number of 1 hour and 10 minutes online. I was like, oh, imagine what I could do with 8 hours, 9 hours back in my week. Good morning, Carrie. Good morning, Leslie. Yeah, that was definitely, that's the whole point of the challenge, right? It's a reality check to be like, are these habits serving me? And it's reflection. So as you know, day 1 was called the Visionary Lens. We zoomed the lens back, tried to see, were there any, patterns in our social media? How much time are we spending online? Do we need to take some care and love and attention to what it is that we're doing when we open up our Instagram feed, right? I shared with you all, good morning, Valeska. I shared with you all very candidly that, and it's on your workbook on day 1, that when I open my social media, what I'm looking for is pretty much to numb out, right? Like upon reflecting on why I constantly go into this app, right? Because I know that I'm not getting much out of the app. Yeah, I might feel a little inspired, a little entertained, but at the end of the day, like Instagram just has a hold on me, right? I click the button to open it up when I really don't need to. I could be doing something else. So dissecting why that is has been really interesting. And for me, I did realize that it was to disconnect from the reality that I'm currently in. Like sometimes I'm just working too hard and I need to numb out. So I've realized maybe there are better ways for me to quote unquote numb out from working too hard or from the current situation that I'm in, such as deep breathing, right? What if I spent 1 hour and 10 minutes deep breathing every day? I don't meditate. What if I spent the time that I'm on Instagram, or half that time, 30 minutes, meditating instead of being on the gram? Whoa, so much would shift. But anyways, I hope that day 1 went well for you. Thank you for posting your before and afters of unfollowing 10 people. If you haven't done that yet, go find yesterday's video or the post from yesterday's homework and do the before and after unfollow challenge. I posted mine and I think I ended up unfollowing 30 people. I wanted to share that Instagram has this really cool button now where if you click on your followers, it takes you to a category that says people you rarely engage with. And there was probably about 50 or 60 people in there that Instagram had told me that I rarely engage with them. So I went through and unfollowed a bunch of them. And that's why I ended up getting from I think 440 people down to 399. So yes, I made my job today a little bit easier, which is good. Hey, Valerie. If you're tuning in live, make sure you are interacting. If you remember our goal from yesterday, it's to not creep and consume and instead converse, connect, create. What other C word? So make sure as I go through, you're saying, hey, why bother watching passively, right? We can keep this a conversation, feel that connection. I shared with you yesterday that I'm on a conference all day today, and I was all day yesterday, and one of the rules was that you had to have your camera on and your audio on as well, or when we were supposed to be talking, you had to have your audio on. And that was to preserve kind of the culture of the conference. They didn't want people like laying in bed with their video off doing dishes. So it was actually a requirement to have your video on and to be present, which I kind of appreciated because it forced me not to try to do a bunch of other things while I was supposed to be attending a conference. Anyways, okay, welcome back. Day 2. Thank you for being here. So today we're moving from the visionary lens. Yesterday we took the lens on our social. Today it's time for the visionary cleanse. So this will be the next page in your workbook. I'm really excited about today. So first we're going to do some digging. So if you have your workbook out or you just have a pen and paper, here are some of the questions we're going to go through. So number 1, what would it feel like to unfollow 100% of the people you currently follow on Instagram? So getting rid of everybody. You guys type in the chat box, what would it feel like to unfollow 100% of people? I wrote down weird and sad, okay? I thought it might be a bit sad to flip open my Instagram because obviously I have a love of the app. I thought it would be kind of sad to get rid of everybody. I might feel even emptier in this challenging time than usual. What do you guys think? How would it feel to unfollow 100% of the people you currently follow? I'll type in my answer. Anybody else? No thoughts on that one? Would you feel good? Or would it be kind of depressing? Stressful? Yeah, I can definitely see it being stressful. You may not like the experience that I'm going to try to get you through today. Well, I definitely think a range of emotions could present themselves in unfollowing 100% of people. For some people, it might feel like relief, and other people, it feels stressful because, holy crap, that's probably a lot of people. Leslie says, feel like I'm missing out. Yeah, FOMO. FOMO is real. The second question that I want you to ask would be, what would it feel like to unfollow 50%? Just 50%. What would that feel like? So I said, in my opinion, it would be weird and sad to unfollow 100%, but I thought it would be really refreshing to unfollow 50% of the people I currently follow. Valerie said she would feel very alone if she unfollowed. Yeah, it goes to show that Instagram does give us needed connection, especially during a time like this. Hey, Francesca. Thanks for joining. So Carrie says it would feel good to unfollow 50%. Leslie says relief if you unfollow 50%. I said refreshing. Okay, so I think we're onto something. We'd feel alone if we unfollowed 100%, but 50%, everyone's giving me positive words. Valeska says might feel lighter, refreshing, uncomfortable, but more manageable. Okay, so Valerie still has a little attachment to the people she follows. And this is all relative, right? Because if you're someone who follows 900 people, it probably means you do need to unfollow 450 of them. But if your Instagram feed is already tight, it might be stressful and weird to unfollow, 50 of your 100 followers because you're like, no, these are my people. Okay, question 3 under the digging. What qualities do you look for in people that you really enjoy following? I want you to write down at least 3. What qualities do you look for in people you really enjoy following? I'll write down some of mine. Here's one of mine. This one kind of surprised me. I look for consistent, high quality IG stories. Like when I follow someone, I'm often watching their stories. And so when I look for new people to follow, I kind of want like good Instagram stories to amuse me. What else? I look for people who entertain or inspire or educate. You'll see those 3 words come up a lot. What qualities do you look for in people who you enjoy following? This is hard, right? I bet you've never really thought about this. Aesthetics, good content, and great info. Yep, good content. So you're looking for meaningful stuff when you open it up. Humor, real, educational. Love that. I really like the real part too. When I see people who are like standing there all posy, I'm not into that. Inspiration, beautiful travel photos and videos, and authenticity. Oh, I love those. Love that you like beautiful travel photos and videos. Like, because now you can consciously curate more of that if that's indeed what you like seeing. And then question 4, I think we can learn a lot from this before we move on. Who are your favorite people to follow on Instagram currently? So just bringing some awareness. I have to be honest, when I sat drinking my coffee this morning, thinking about who my favorite people to follow were, very few came to mind. Like, very few. Valerie says, no more staged poses, right? Carrie says she looks for inspiring, sense of humor, and great content on organizing. Yeah, especially based on what you do. Okay, so if you're thinking about who your favorite people to follow on Instagram are, Leslie says none, really. I know. I sat there and I was like, I don't really have any. I guess that's a good sign that I'm not so addicted to the app. But then why am I in there all the time if I don't even have favorite people? I have a few. I wrote down like 2-3 people that I, from memory, was like, you're one of my favorite people to follow. And I would miss you if you were gone. But other than that, like, there's like 390 people that I probably can't even remember who I follow. Valeska says her family. They live overseas, so it's nice to... Yes, okay. And that is something that, like, through this whole detox, there's always going to be those people that, like, they're your family. Like, they're there for a reason. But then all these other people started to clutter the party. We had to get rid of them. This is tough. Yeah, Valerie. I know, guys, I wrote down 2 people that are my favorite to follow, and I follow 399 people. Like, that was a reality check. We've started this party on Instagram, and we invited way too many people to the party, and we don't even want them there. We got to get rid of them. Okay, let's move on to the challenge. You'll see the second part of your workbook today is the challenge. So number 1, I want you to take time to scroll the most recent 50 feed posts on your Instagram. And you're going to use the chart on the next page. You can see I started to fill it out here. You're going to write down their Instagram handle and then decide, you're just going feed by feed for 50, is the content either inspiring, or is it educational, or is it entertaining? Is it triggering, as in it makes you feel worse about yourself or something? Or are you just not sure? Like, I call this null. It's like, okay, I don't really care about this person's content. They posted another picture of their, dirty soccer cleats. Great. Doesn't make me mad. It's just not inspiring, educational, or entertaining. So you just type not sure, okay? So you're going to go through, I need to finish mine. I did 16 this morning. The first 16 posts in my feed. I wrote down their Instagram name, and then I checked off if their content is inspiring, educational, entertaining, triggering, or not sure. Do you guys have any questions on that? So you're going to take some time after today's video to do it. And I want to see a finished photo. You can blank out the names for me. I want to see a finished photo. Then what we're going to do is we're actually going to total up how many inspiring posts there were, how many educational posts you saw, how many entertaining, how many triggering, how many not sure posts. And then you're going to get totals of the first 3 columns all together and a total of the last 2 columns out of 50. I'm making you do math. Then what we're going to do is put that into a percentage. So I did my percentage even with 16. So 10 out of 16 posts were either inspiring, educational, or entertaining, which I classify as good. So 63% of the posts that I'm seeing are good. On the contrary, I had 6 out of 16, or 37% of the posts I'm seeing are either triggering or useless, in my opinion. So 37%. So the formulas are kind of there, but again, you're going to total up the columns. I give you the little totals there out of 50, divide that into a percentage, and then get your 2 totals of either good posts or useless posts. So that'll take some time. So now that you know what percentage of your feed is either triggering or useless, or NA as I call it, my challenge to you, and this is question number 4, can you unfollow the percentage of people that you said you're either triggering or useless content? So for me, 37% of people is my goal for the amount of people I should unfollow. Does that make sense? 37% is my goal. So because I follow 399 people, and due to the sample I took, 37% is content that I don't need to see. It's not educational, not inspiring, not entertaining. My goal then, 399 people, because I currently follow that many people, times 0.37 equals 147 people. So my goal by the end of the day is to unfollow 147 people. Does anyone have questions on that? I think it's quite straightforward, but I got to get to work. We need to rush through this video because I got a lot of work ahead of me. 147 people. And I'm going to do it. I'm holding myself accountable. Leslie says, wow. So you're all going to have a different number, because if you have 100% of your content under the inspiring, educational, and entertaining columns, you don't have to unfollow anybody. But if you have most people under triggering or not sure, you have a lot of work to do. I hope that makes sense. Go through the exercise. Should be pretty straightforward. You should have 50 people written down, and then you give each one a check mark based on where they fall, okay? And so then let's get to work. So get to work. And then the last piece of the workbook, the interesting. This will take time. This will be hard. I want you to document the emotions that come up as you go through unfollowing a large percentage of your feed. So document the emotions that come up when you go through this exercise. For me, it's going to be hard. 147 people, that's a lot. And the last part, when you want to hold on to someone, as in you don't want to hit that unfollow button, ask why. Is it because you want to please them? Do they have a special meaning? Like they're your family overseas, like Valeska said? Is it your own guilt that says not to? and reflect. Okay, so I'll post your homework in the group. Figure out those percentages. Or if you don't want to do that, go to 0. Start fresh. Let's see what we can do, okay? Anyone have questions before I jump off for today? It's going to be a hard one, but tomorrow I'll be back at 8 a.m. Eastern. I'll be talking about the visionary redesign. So please use this time to pare back, get rid of, minimize, cleanse, detox. If you've ever done a cleanse with food before, you know it's hard. This is no different. Yeah, Leslie says sometimes it's hard to unfollow because you have to ask if you want to follow again. Yeah, I know. And that's kind of awkward, right? But I'm going to try to just forget about that. I need to purge. I need to, start fresh. I'm doing the start fresh. And I've made this very verbal. So maybe let people know you're doing a social media detox so that it's not weird or come as a surprise when you are unfollowing everyone and then maybe need to refollow some. Valerie says, challenge accepted. Yes. Okay. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Do they know you have unfollowed them? Nope. No. If you have one of those silly apps that's called seewhounfollowedme.com, you can. I once had a friend call me, and this is many years ago. It's a university group of friends, and they were or my friend Mark called me, and he said, Laura knows you unfollowed her. And I'm like, great. I'm not friends with Laura. We're acquaintances, but what's the problem? He's like, yeah, she has one of those unfollow apps. And I'm like, anybody who looks at an unfollow app on a daily basis is not someone I need to be friends with. How petty, right? So no, Leslie, they will not know you unfollow them unless they use a third-party app that tracks all their unfollows, which in my mind is come on, we got better things to do, right? Okay, cool. Well, I'll post your homework. I can't wait to see the success you have with day 2, and I'll see you tomorrow, same time, same place. We're going to finish this off just as strong as we started. I can't wait to see you tomorrow.